Hey guys, before the video starts, I just want to give a great shout out to my wonderful members. Jesse HOH, Survivor Sands, Lightning Rocks, Giratina Gaming, TPP Official, Skitty Shortcake, Gensokyu, and Plush Anime Game Adventures. Thank you all so much for the extra support. You guys rule. Now onto the video.
Somewhere on a Grand Prix. Better than torn up in every moment. If it all's worth my eventual sense, maybe then time again will weave a thread until the end. Vow with you and I that when we die we'll leave behind a meaningful legend.
Hello everyone, it is I, TDI Fan 2025, and this has been a video that I have been anticipating to make for quite some time now. As you can see, it is New Year's Eve, at least the time that this video is being premiered, so that means it's time for me to rank all the movies that I have watched in the year 2025. Well, not every movie I've watched, just the new releases that came out. So, out of the movies I watched, 51 of them are new 2025 movie releases, and those are the movies that I'll be ranking in this video from worst to best. Technically 52, because there was this one movie called Eden that I watched this year, except that movie didn't really count since technically it came out last year and it only got a little release where I'm at, so that's why I'm not going to count that for this ranking. But every other movie I've seen, yes, I will count. So yes, there's 51 total, which I believe is the highest out of any of the past videos I've done so far. This year, a crap ton of movies came out, so there's a lot to pack in here. And I'm about to go through the list of how I'd rank all these movies from worst to best. Now, this is all just my opinion, so of course, take it with a grain of salt or whatever. But I would love to see your guys' lists in the comments down below. And if you want to see my full list, including movies that I've seen this year, although they aren't able to count. Like, for example, there's this one movie called Flow that I watched in January of this year, and that movie is like one of the best movies I've seen ever. So if you want to see where that movie ranks, then in the pinned comment in the description, not in the description, in the pinned comment after this premiere, I will post my full list of movies and how I would rank them. So you'll see that. But that'll be after this premiere, so there won't be any spoilers. And for anyone who watched this after the premiere, you have been warned. So yeah, with that said, let's get on with the list. We're going to start with the worst and get to the best. So let's do it.
You? It's you!
Yeah. Well, yes, kind of.
How could you,
Yeah.
man?
I mean, come on. What movie was going to take the bottom spot? It had to be this one movie. War of the Worlds 2025, starring Ice Cube. This movie came out this year, and I, for some odd reason, took the time to watch it, and I regret the decision. This movie sucks. This is like bottom line garbage. And everyone who's seen the movie, unfortunately, has to agree. Like, I haven't seen a single person who actually liked this movie, and there's a reason, because this movie is so freaking bad. We just see Ice Cube sitting in like this room, which is clearly just a green screen in the background for most of this movie, and it's horrible. Like, it's bad. It's like such a bad iteration of the War of the Worlds story. So I have no idea who in the right mind thought this was a good idea. I guess the only good thing is that you will get a couple of laughs here and there, but that's just for how bad this movie is, because this movie is bad. And I'm guessing you've heard of how bad it is, because that's really the only reason why people talk about it, because of how bad it is. So yeah, it sucks. It's the worst movie I've seen this year, without a doubt, and that's why it's at the very bottom. Another movie that sucks, the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake that Disney released back in May. This movie is horrible. Now, I know it has its fans and everything, but I just could not find myself to like any bit of it. Like, this movie is just bad. And like, I know the Disney remakes are typically bad, but this is like full-on bad. Definitely one of the worst remakes they've ever done. Luckily, I didn't even check out Snow White, so don't expect to see that on this list. It probably would be below this movie. That's how bad these remakes have been lately. But yeah, this is so disappointing. I mean, like, you'd think they would actually try with Lilo and Stitch, but no, they didn't. They changed the story way too much, which could have been a good thing if done with the right reasons, yet there was like no good outcome with the changes. And it's horrible. It's just bad. Like, I guess CGI Stitch isn't that bad looking, which is great, but the other aliens look horrendous in my opinion, so it's bad. It's so bad to the point where they really ruined a lot of characters from the original film, and one major character, honestly, they took out of the film, which is why they had to make a side character the main villain, which I was like, who thought that was a good idea? I don't even know what to say. This movie sucks, and that's why it's at number 50 on the list.
I was born pure evil. First word was tyranny.
Next, we have the Plankton movie. This movie came out in February, I think, and it only came out on Netflix. So this wasn't even a theatrical release. But even so, this movie's pretty bad. Like, the Sandy Cheeks movie they did last year was horrible. I will say this one isn't as bad, but it's still pretty bad. The animation is a downgrade, but I guess that is to be expected because this movie is a streaming movie, not a theatrical release. I don't know, the story's pretty bad. I don't even know why they decided to give Plankton his own movie, like before Squidward and Mr. Krabs. That's a weird choice, I guess, a weird decision, but I don't know. It's pretty bad. It's also one of the most forgettable movies of the year. I honestly forgot this movie came out this year. So, yeah, it's bad. Nothing much else to say. Don't even waste your time with this film, and that's why it's here on the list.
Don't worry, I've got guys who can patch all this up like new.
48th place, we have a movie that you probably forgot came out this year. It's a movie that stars Ke Huy Quan called Love Hurts. Honestly, I forgot this movie came out too. Around this part of the video is where I'm going to go through most of the movies that I actually forgot or are just that forgettable. So yeah, Love Hurts. Not only is this one forgettable, but it's also pretty bad, which sucks because Ke Huy Quan is such a great actor and you want to root for him, but it's hard when he's in a movie that's honestly very forgettable and pretty bad for the most part. Like, I can't really think of anything good that came out of this movie. I guess the action wasn't that bad, but that's pretty much it. Plot-wise, it sucks. The characters aren't that great, other than Ke Huy Quan's character, but even he's not enough to save this movie. So, nothing much else to say. It's forgettable, and I guarantee most of you guys probably don't really know what this movie is, so that's why it's at number 48 on this list.
I have a really good feeling about this, Millie.
Me too.
Number 47 goes to The Housemaid. I didn't even want to watch this movie at all. I had zero anticipation for it. Zero, what's the word? Like, I did not want to see it at all. I had zero excitement for it. But my sister wanted to watch it, so I had no choice. Anyway, this movie is, it's not like a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either. I still can't really comprehend how I truly feel about this movie, which is why it's mostly, pretty low on this list. But I don't know, I guess the acting's not that bad, but I just couldn't really care less about this movie. It's another movie that I'm most likely going to forget as time goes on. So nothing much else to say. That's why I had number 47 on this list. Talk about forgettable. Number 46 is Tron Ares. Now, I'm not even the biggest Tron guy, but I mean, I thought this movie could have been good. Knowing Disney, I really shouldn't have expected so much. And yeah, this movie is honestly very boring. Like, I kid you not, I fell asleep and my brother had to wake me up while watching this film in theaters. Granted, I opened that day, so I was probably just tired, but also this movie is very boring. Like, I can't even remember a single thing from it. The visuals are great, but that's it. I mean, like, you know, we learned from Avatar. Just because you have great visuals doesn't mean your movie's going to be good. But Avatar's way better than this. Anyway, Tron Ares is just a forgettable movie that I really have nothing else to say. And that's why it's number 46 on this list.
Dangerous part of the sea, the underworld.
45 is the SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants. Yeah, this movie came out. Yay, it exists. Yay, Ice Spice. Oh my god. Yeah, this movie is not good. It's not. Even the visuals aren't that good, which is surprising because this is a theatrical release, yet this movie pretty much looks like the movies that they made for Netflix. So, what was that about, Nickelodeon? Anyway, I don't really have much to say about this movie either. It's not a great movie, but it's not like a super bad movie, you know? I will say this is a little better than the last theatrical movie they did, but that's not really saying much. Both these movies are still pretty mid, and I bet I'm gonna forget about this movie soon too. You know, it doesn't live up to the heights that the first movie has, so don't expect much going into this film. It's just a okay movie with very little to like, I guess, and that's why it's here on the list.
Why? Because I was dying, god damn it!
One of, if not the most disappointing movies of 2025 has got to be Captain America Brave New World. This movie had so much potential. I kid you not. I was like anticipating this movie when it was coming out. And then we just got a movie that honestly just falls in every category. Like, it's not a bad film, but God, it could have been so much better. And also, a lot of the visual and CGI here are pretty bad. And you'd think at this point we would have great CGI coming from Marvel, but no, we still get some bad CGI, and it's obvious in this film. There's not really a lot to talk about. Like, I guess the acting's not that bad, and story-wise, it isn't the worst story to tell, but it could have been so much better, especially with how they handled Red Hulk, which is in most of the advertising for this film, yet he only is really in the movie for the last few minutes, and that's disappointing, you know? But then again, what was there really to expect with this film? I wish it could have been better, but it wasn't. And for me, it's one of the most disappointing films of 2025. And that's why it's here on the list.
Nothing was working out, and I wanted to get off of Earth.
Yep, 43 is Mickey 17, another movie that I bet most of you guys probably have no idea what it is. This is a movie that came out back in March. It's from the same guy who did Parasite. And from what I've heard, that movie is like one of the best movies. So I definitely have to check that one out at some point. But honestly, my thoughts on this film, it's just a movie. Like, it's really weird. Honestly, I remember when I was watching this, I was like, what is going on? What is this, you know? So it's a very weird film. I guess the acting is pretty good, but overall, it's another movie that I don't really know what to think or how I feel about. And it's also pretty forgettable, especially with how stacked this year was with movies. So there's nothing much else for me to say. This movie is a movie that came out, and that's pretty much it, which is why it's here on the list.
This is Zora Bennett. I'm a mission specialist. Sorry, what mission?
42, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. This movie is a movie that exists. I know I'm going to be saying that a lot with a bunch of these films that are, you know, around here on my list, but that is the unfortunate thing about this year with a lot of the movies. Anyway, Jurassic World Rebirth. I didn't expect a lot coming out of this movie, and yeah, I pretty much got what I expected, which wasn't a lot. I guess the acting is okay, and the dinosaurs look pretty cool and all, but really they could have done a lot more with the dinosaurs for the most part. So it's also a little disappointing, but again, I wasn't expecting much, so yeah, nothing much else to say. It's an alright movie that definitely could have been better, but here we are, and that's why it's here on the list.
The wrong person.
No, I have exactly the right person.
Another forgettable movie that honestly I'm questioning why I went to see it in the first place. The Amateur. Another movie that I guarantee most people probably don't even know what it is. It has Rami Malek in it and Fishburne. However, I forgot his first name. I'm sorry, but he's a well-known actor too. Anyway, it's another like, I'm not gonna say it's a thriller. It's more like a spy action type film, like probably James Bond-ish, but not really. I don't know. It's another action film that came out this year that is honestly pretty forgettable, and like I kid you not, I can't even explain what the plot is because I don't even remember. This movie came out this year. I went to see it, and it's okay. It's nothing special, and that's why it's here on the list.
I barely even know you!
Next, we have the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up. Honestly, I forgot this movie came out this year. Now, I'm not calling it a bad movie. It's the animation, for the most part, is really good. But I'm not the biggest Looney Tunes fan, so I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this film. It's got a lot of jokes that did get me for the most part, but overall, it's just a movie that is harmless, but it could have been better, I guess. I don't know. It's a Looney Tunes film, so what can you really expect? But for me, Space Jam is still the best one. The original Space Jam, that is. Anyway, yeah, this movie is pretty solid, but nothing more, and that's why it's here on the list.
I am Steve.
39, one of the biggest movies of the year, even though the movie itself isn't all that good, the Minecraft movie. Yeah, this movie is, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's fun, but it's really dumb, and overall it's not good. It's just a fun, dumb film. But we got a lot of those this year, and to be honest, I liked a few of them more than this film. Also, the whole chicken jockey craziness that happened. Like, I work at a movie theater, so I kid you not, that was a terrible experience to look back on. So, yeah. Don't really know what else to say. This movie exists. You know, it almost made $1 billion. I mean, I guess that's how big Minecraft is, so, you know. But, yeah, I don't know. The visuals are pretty good, but that's it. It's just a fun, dumb film that brings some bad memories. So that's why it's here on the list.
You don't know my schedule.
You sit there every night. Might be nice to have a pal, you know, a bud.
38, we have Friendship. Now, this movie, technically, it got a wide release in May of this year, even though this movie kind of came out last year. So you're probably thinking, why is it on the list? Well, I'm going to allow it anyway because it did get an actual wide release, unlike Eden. So that's why I'm counting it for here. Anywho, Friendship, a movie that stars Paul Rudd and that other guy. He's actually really funny though, but I don't know his name. Anyway, this is a very funny film. A lot of great jokes, I have to say, and I cracked up quite a bit. But other than that, it's another movie that I kind of forgot came out this year. There was a lot of movies, so, you know, bear with me. But it's a fun film, you know. A lot funnier than Minecraft, in my opinion. And that's why it's ranked above Minecraft. But that's also why it's here on the list. Not a great film, but a very funny film. Although there have been a lot more funnier films that released this year, which you're about to see.
Vengeance most foul!
37, the new Wallace and Gromit movie that they made, Vengeance Most Foul. This is actually the first new movie I watched this year, and it's at number 37. Anyway, it's a good film, I would say. I mean, I don't know. I kid you not, I couldn't really care less about this film. I know it's getting a lot of praise and stuff, but I wasn't, you know, a huge fan of this film compared to the Curse of the Were-Rabbit film, where I was an even bigger fan of. Like, that film for me is still way better than this one. The claymation here is great, but story-wise, I wasn't a huge fan with what they did. It's a solid enough film, but another one that I kind of forgot released. But, you know, if I had to choose a Wallace and Gromit to put on, I would put on Curse of the Were-Rabbit, because for me, that one is still the best. So yeah, this is a solid enough film for fans. You'll be satisfied. For casuals, I don't know. And that's why it's here on the list.
Have one. Are you serious? Here.
36, we have Roofman. Yeah, you're probably thinking, what the heck is this movie? Well, this is a movie that came out in October. It's like a little small rom-com, I guess, because technically it is a rom-com. Well, for the most part, it's a rom-com, but it has a lot of other elements to it. Anyway, it's a movie that stars Channing Tatum, however you say his first name. Anyway, Channing Tatum, and he plays this one guy who stays at a Toys R Us because he's on the run. And then he falls in love with one of the workers there, and then that's how the whole rom-com story comes to play. The movie is, it's a solid film, it's harmless, we got a lot of harmless movies coming out. Anyway, it's a harmless, solid film that you can definitely get some enjoyment out of, but it's definitely not the best, nowhere near top 20. So, yeah, that's another movie that came out, and you'll have a solid time with, and that's why it's here on the list.
Oh, not at all. Thank you for having me.
35 goes to Paddington in Peru. Yes, definitely the weakest Paddington film out of the three that we have, but it's still a solid enough entry to the Paddington filmography. If you like the first two films, you're definitely going to like this one. Another, cute, small film that came out back in February, I think. Well, technically, this is another movie that released last year in the UK, but for me, who, I live in North America, here we got it in the year 2025, so that's why it's on the list. Anyway, it's a small, cute family film that you'll get some enjoyment out of. It's another movie that I actually kind of forgot released this year, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean it's a bad film. I wouldn't say it's amazing, even though it got some pretty good reviews. But for me, it's solid, not as good as the first two, but still a solid entry. And that's why it's a number 35 on the list.
I'm just a regular guy with a regular job, but I've got this condition where I don't feel pain.
34, we have Novocaine. Now, this is another smaller film that released earlier this year. I watched it because I had a little interest in it. And I don't know, it's a fun film, very dumb and not great, but it's fun for what it is. Also, it stars Jack Quaid, so he's a great actor, and I would say I'm a fan of his work. So of course I had to check it out. And also, I believe this is the first film where he's starring, so that's great for him. Anyway, it's a very fun film that you will probably get some enjoyment out of. Again, it's not a great movie, but it's very fun and harmless. And for me, I had a pretty good time with it. But it's at number 34. So there's 33 movies that I think are better, yet it's still a good movie. But yeah, it's here on the list. Some of you may be surprised why this movie is ranked lower than expected. Well, Wicked for Good is a good film. That's it. At least in my opinion. The acting is great. Some of the songs are good, but the songs in this film are definitely a lot weaker than the songs in the first film. And I don't know, it's a solid film that I think is good. But again, I do think this movie could have been a lot more than what we got. But that's just me, I'm not the biggest Wicked guy either. So if you're a Wicked fan, you're probably going to enjoy this a lot more than I, which I would call myself a casual, did. And yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie, could have been better, and that's why it's here at number 33.
Let's do it. Let's reboot Anaconda.
Number 32, we have Anaconda, the 2025 Anaconda. Not the original, but it's not really a remake either. It's just its own thing, but it's Anaconda. Anyway, this movie stars Paul Rudd and Jack Black. Two very funny and good actors, in my honest opinion. And two that we've seen a lot, quite, especially in this year, I would say. Anyway, this movie is funny, but it's not really good. The only reason why I ranked it higher above other films that I did say are good is because I got a lot more enjoyment out of this film in the comedy aspect, because I did laugh quite a lot in this film. It's a very funny film, It's not, I wouldn't say it's the first SpongeBob movie level funny, if that makes sense, but it's still pretty funny. And at this point, I will take a pretty funny movie over a movie that could have been a lot better than what we got. So that's why it's here on this list.
Okay, I'm trying to get abducted by aliens.
31, barely missing the top 30, is Pixar's Elio. Unfortunately, I didn't have much anticipation for this film, like many other people, and it really pains for me to say that because I'm a huge Pixar fan, and I really want them to succeed and everything, but unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of hype for this film, and after watching it, yeah, I can definitely see why a lot of people tend to, forget this film, because it's good, but again, knowing Pixar, they could have done so much better, especially for an original film. Like, I would say Luca and Soul, which came out a few years back, are way better than this, in my own opinion. Also, this movie flopped super hard when it came out, so again, Pixar, you guys are not doing great with your recent original films. And then Hoppers doesn't even look that exciting either, but hopefully I'm wrong. Anyway, Elio is a solid film that could have been so much more. So unfortunately, it's not going to be ranking any higher than this placement on this list.
Wait, aren't dogs colorblind?
You know it's bad for Pixar when a decent DreamWorks movie is better than what they produced. Anyway, number 30 is Dogman. Many of you are probably thinking, why is this movie ranked a little higher than other films? Well, for me, I had a pretty good time with this film, even though this movie came out in January, so usually I'd probably forget about this movie. But no, Dogman is a solid enough film that I had a good time with, It did crack me up a bit, even though the jokes are super dumb and for kids, yet a few of them actually landed, even for me. And yeah, the animation is really good. I love this little comic book art style that they're doing with this film and with the previous Captain Underpants movie. So honestly, DreamWorks, at this point, DreamWorks is doing a lot better than Pixar, which is sad to see, but DreamWorks is another goated studio, so yeah, for the most part, sometimes they would drop trash, but for the most part, when they can cook, they cook. And even though Dogman isn't a great movie, it's very solid, and I had a good time with it, like I said, which is why it's number 30 on the list.
Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
29, we have The Naked Gun. Now, I wasn't expecting this movie to be this high on the list, even though it's not necessarily high, but it's higher than expected. I don't know. This movie was really dumb, but also really funny. I don't know. It's a kind of movie that I would find myself laughing quite a lot to, and I did with watching this film. So, yeah, also, it's nice to see Liam Neeson in a role like this, It's a breath of fresh air to see serious actors take a comedy role and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like necessarily a good film. It's just a very funny film that anyone can be into, I guess. And that's why it's here on the list. Number 28, we have Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I've only seen the first Final Destination movie prior to watching this, and from what I've heard, the series gets worse the more they go on, so I didn't bother with the other films, and also I'm not really a fan of this franchise as a whole, so I didn't really bother checking on it, but I saw this one, and I have to say, this one is actually a pretty good movie, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as I thought it would be, but it's pretty good. The cast does a good job. The CGI is actually pretty great for this film, and I don't know, a lot of the deaths were as gory as ever, but they get a lot of creative with this series when it comes to the deaths and all that stuff. So I would say it's a very enjoyable film, unless if that's not your thing, but I had a pretty good time with it, and that's why it's here on the list.
You study karate or something?
Kung Fu. Used to.
27, Karate Kid Legends. Now, this is another movie that pretty much gets tanked on because I know a lot of people don't really like this film, but I'm one of the few who had a really good time with it, honestly, even though it could have been so much better. Like, honestly, I do have my fair share of nitpicks with this film, but for what we got, I still had a good time with the film. It's entertaining, I would say. As a Karate Kid fan, well, technically I'm a Karate Kid fan. I only watch the movies and stuff, but this film is pretty good. Like, I would say it's up there, Not as good as the original trilogy, but it's pretty decent for what it is, It's a solid enough film that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. So that's pretty much the only reason why it's ranked higher than other films. But, it's a solid film. If you're a fan, check it out, and you'll have a good time, like I did. So that's why it's here on the list.
Dad, I can't kill dragons.
26, we have the live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon. This is the first live-action remake for DreamWorks, and honestly, they had a pretty good start, I would say, because although this is pretty much a shot-for-shot remake, it's definitely a lot better than what Disney's been doing. So, props to you, Universal, for actually knowing how to take a remake and doing it in a good way. Yes, the dragons look cool. It's the first dragon movie is amazing, so the story and everything, it's all great. The actors do great here. The visuals are awesome. It's a great movie, I would say. Like, not as good as the original, just because it's, like I said, it's mostly shot for shot. But if you're a fan, then I can definitely see you enjoying this one for what it is. So yeah, I had a good time with it, and that's why it's a number 26 on the list.
I'm still here, you shit eaters.
Number 25, I put The Running Man. Yes, this movie came out in November. I saw it, and I have to say, it's pretty good. I know it's not really getting the best reviews online, but I had a pretty good time with it. Glenn Powell does a good job, and the action is honestly really good. The plot wasn't the best, and that ending wasn't the best either, but the movie was just entertaining enough for me to rank it higher than other films. That's pretty much why it's here. I had a pretty good time with it, and nothing much else to say. That's why it's here in number 25.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
23, we have Avatar, Fire and Ash. Most of you guys are probably thinking, why isn't this higher? If you saw my 2022 movie ranking video, Avatar The Way of Water was second place. So the fact that the next installment is at 23 really says a lot about how I feel about this film. For me, this is definitely the weakest of the Avatar trilogy, but it's still a decent film. The only reason why I say it's decent because, honestly, this is probably just me, but for me, this movie is very identical to the second film in terms of the plot and the action and everything. The visuals are still great. Like, of course, these movies are going to have amazing visuals, but other than that, some characters were handled kind of weird, and I don't really know what to say. It's a endearing and engaging film, yet they really should try harder with the plot and everything else. So yeah, also this movie is 3.5 hours, so anyway, the movie is good enough, but it could be so much better, although I did find myself enjoying it a lot more than some other films this year, and that's why it's here on the list.
Relax. Diamonds are forever.
22, we have Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I actually recently got into these films this year. I watched the first two to prep for this film, and now that I've seen this film, I have to say, this might be my favorite in the trilogy, which is probably a hot take because I know quite a few people who actually didn't like this movie, but I found myself to enjoy it quite a bit. The magic is great, and I don't know, the CGI is great too with all the magic and stuff. You can tell that they had quite a bit of fun dealing with that whole visuals and everything for the film with the magic and everything. It is definitely a fun heist film too, because these are magicians who do heists and stuff. So the concept is great, and like I said, I just found myself to enjoy this film quite a lot more than the other two. It's not really a great movie, but I had a great time with it, and that's why it's ranked here on the list.
My maker told his tale.
Barely missing the top 20, we have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie. This movie came out on Netflix in December. This month, I believe, December or November. It was actually November. Yeah, November. This movie came out, and I don't know. I mean, I will say the first half lost me quite a bit. Like, the first half of this film was pretty slow, and honestly, I was not really enjoying it. Then the second half pulled me back in. The second half really saved this film for me, and which pretty much made this film be higher than most other films, because that second half, I will say, is pretty good. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I see. You know, when Del Toro cooks, he can cook. But I will say that first half did lose me quite a bit. So that's why it's not ranked higher than this placement. But because of that strong second half, that's why it's at number 21 on this list. Also, the actors do amazing performances here. Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, and Maya Goth, they all do amazing here. So there's that too. But yeah, 21 on the list.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Definitely not the Freddy's I remember.
Top 20. And starting the top 20, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Most of you guys might be thinking, why is this movie ranked so high? Well, even though critically this movie's getting bombed hard, I found myself to enjoy this movie quite a lot, especially compared to the first film. Don't get me wrong, the first film is decent, but it's also a little boring, and to be honest, looking back at it, it's not really a good film. But this movie, for me, is a way better just because it's, 1, more entertaining, 2, a lot more scary than the first film, and 3, I don't know, if I do know a bit of the FNAF lore, so seeing all the lore references and everything in this second film, I was like, ooh. And I don't know, I had a good time. I had a good time with this film. Objectively, it's not really a good movie, but it's very fun. And like I said before, sometimes a very fun, dumb movie is what you need to enjoy. And that's what I got out of this film. Also, the ending to the film, which pretty much sets up the third film, got me a little excited. So that's why it's here on the list.
Have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship?
I lied. FNAF 2 did not make my top 20. It's at 21. I miscounted. Anyway, here is the top 20. And starting the top 20, we have The Smashing Machine. Yeah, I really wanted to enjoy this movie a lot because after seeing that first trailer and actually seeing The Rock performing for once, you know, like instead of being himself, he's actually trying this time around. So that got me a little excited, you know. This is one of my anticipated films for the year. And I have to say, I was a bit let down just because structurally this movie is kind of all over the place. And there were times where it could have ended, yet it didn't. So it does have some pacing issues and it's not as engaging as some other films. But The Rock's performance is enough for me to have this film be a lot higher than others. I will say this is an Oscar-worthy film. It's not the best Oscar-worthy film, but for what we got, I have to say they did a really good job. The Rock and Emily Blunt, they do great performances here, especially The Rock. Like, this is his best work yet. And I would love to see him do more dramatic roles like this. So, you know, in my personal opinion, I think this movie is great for what it is. Definitely could have been better. There's definitely some work to be done. But for what it is, it's great. And that's why it's in my top 20.
And into the dark. And they never came back.
Now, I'm not a big horror guy, so believe me when I say how surprised I am to see a horror film make it this high up on my list. Number 19 is Weapons. Now, this movie is unlike a lot of other horror films I've seen before. This movie is not only really good, but the way that they handle the whole plot and everything, how it's structured, really amazed me, honestly. Like, it's a really different but still engaging film. And yes, it is a horror film. There's a few jump scares here and there, but overall, I don't know. It's a really good movie. I had a great time with this film. It's really good. If you haven't seen Weapons, I highly recommend it. It's a very different and unique horror film that I hope to see more of in the future. But yeah, this movie is scary. Not as scary as some other films I've seen, but it's still a scary film. So if you're not into horror at all, then I guess don't check it out. But if you don't mind a few scares, I would definitely recommend Weapons 100%. It's a really good movie that came out this year, and that's why it's at number 19 on the list.
In this moment, I am wonderful.
18, we have The Life of Chuck. This is another movie that technically didn't release this year, but it got a wide release, so I'm going to allow it. Anyway, this is a movie that I didn't know was actually based on a little short story that Stephen King wrote. And we've gotten a lot of Stephen King based films this year, surprisingly. Anyway, this is one of them. And I honestly think this movie is really good. It's another movie where it's structured in a way where you see a lot of point of views. Like, I didn't say this for the weapons part of this video, but that's exactly how the weapons movie was structured. We see a lot of point of views of the main characters, and we see that here with The Life of Chuck as well. And this is such an endearing and life-changing film. If you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. It is so good. The actors here do amazing performances, and it's a movie that will stick with you. Not for the worse, but for the better, because it's that type of film. Like I said, it's a life-changing film. I had a really good time with this movie. This movie is amazing, and you know, I'm glad I went to see it. But there are only 17 other films this year that I think are slightly better.
You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords.
17, we have One Battle After Another. Now, a lot of you might be a little disappointed that this movie didn't make my top 10 or top 5. I know, a lot of people are praising this movie. This is the top Oscar movie contender for the Oscars. And let's be honest, it's going to win a ton of awards. So I'm not surprised. This movie is a really good film. There's a lot to like about it, especially the cinematography and the action. There's a lot of moments here that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. It is one of those types of movies that you got to see in theaters, 100%. The only reason why it's not ranked as high as many of you probably would expect is because it's a little lengthy, and that for me, I definitely could have pointed out a few scenes that, in my opinion, could have gone cut or shortened, but that's just me. And yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a big message in this film that can be controversial, but I don't know. This movie is great. Like, it's a great film, but for me, it isn't one of the best, but it's, you know, it's a really great movie, and that's why it's here on the list.
It takes heavy sack to sign up for this contest.
16, we have The Lawn Walk. This is another movie that's based on a novel from Stephen King, and I have to say that this movie is so freaking good. If you haven't seen The Lawn Walk yet, what are you doing? Watch it as soon as possible, because this movie is so good, okay? Like, I was at the edge of my seat throughout this entire film. I wasn't expecting it to be super good, but I was expecting it to be at least pretty good, yet this is just amazing. It's an amazing film. The actors here do super great. The story is so, you know, engaging and so depressing. This is definitely one of these sadder films as well, because so many emotional scenes happen throughout the film. It's an emotional film, and it's also dark as well, and pretty gruesome at times, but what can you expect from Stephen King, am I right? Anyway, this movie is so good. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's one of those movies that you just have to watch, you know? And that's why it's at number 16 on this list.
Maybe you don't keep up with the news, but we're good now.
Top 15, we have The Bad Guys 2. That's right, this movie came out as well, and it's also from DreamWorks. Yeah, this movie is actually really good. Even though it's pretty similar to the first film, it's still an enjoyable film, just as enjoyable as the first film. And for me, it's slightly better than the first film, because we get a lot more character development with not just Mr. Wolf, but all the other characters here too. The action is great, the heist is great, and the animation is just as smooth and unique. It's a really great and entertaining film that, if you're a fan of the first film, you're definitely going to have a treat with this film. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? DreamWorks really does great with their sequels most of the time, but they really know how to nail them, and that's why it's here on the list.
My name is Gabriel. I'm an angel. I'm here to save you.
14, we have another film that is kind of small that also came out this year. It's called Good Fortune. It stars Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, and I forgot the other guy's name, but he's not only the star, but he also directs this film, and he's that guy that's right across Keanu Reeves in this picture. Anyway, this movie is actually really good. I had a really good time with it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. It's also really funny, and at times it can be really relatable. It's one of those movies where you're like, damn, am I in that position? You know, it's really like, I wouldn't say it's life changing, but it's at the point of where I'm at right now. I would say this movie is like really relatable, not in the sense that I'm poor, but that I feel those types of ways. If you know, or if you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. And also, like I said, it's actually really funny. One of the funniest movies in this year, without a doubt. So if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. And it barely misses the top 10, but it's pretty damn close. So that just goes to show how great this movie is. And that's why it's at number 14 on this list.
Well, we've been official partners for 1 week. Happy anniversary!
Number 13, I have Zootopia 2. This is another sequel that came out this year, but the shocking part is it's a Disney sequel, and usually Disney does not deliver with their sequels. Yet, I will say, they actually cooked with Zootopia 2. I had a great time with this film. I'm not the biggest fan of the first film. I think it's great for what it is, but I wouldn't say I'm like a diehard Zootopia fan. But I really had a great time with this second film. It's really fun. It's really entertaining, and it's vibrant with all the colors and animation. It's a really fun film. No surprise why. It's about to be the highest grossing animated film of all time. And, you know, so much people are watching this movie, and there's it's not hard to say why, because it's really fun and you'll have a great time with it for sure. Unless you actually hate this movie. But it's a really fun and what's the word? A really a sequel that delivers. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a sequel that actually delivers, which is shocking to see coming out of Disney. But hey, at least they finally did a really good sequel, and that's why it's here at number 13 on the list.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Here at 12th place, we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Yes, this movie is, in my opinion, really good. Like, I know a lot of people are mixed on this film, but I had a really good time with it. The action is superb, of course. Tom Cruise does amazing with all the stunts and everything. And even though this movie is another long movie, I found myself to be entertained throughout the entire film. It's a really engaging film that will also keep you on the edge of your seat, especially near the end of the film. It's amazing, in my honest opinion. I had a really good time with it, yet it barely misses the top 10. But it's still a really great film and a great finale to the Mission Impossible franchise, and that's why it's at number 12 on this list.
But I've always seen myself a little less evolved.
Barely missing the top 10 is one of my personal favorite films of the year, Better Man. This is another movie that, again, I'd say many times, technically it released last year in the UK, but it got a wide release. Well, not really a wide release, a little wide release here, and I got to see it. Fortunately, I did, because it was only playing for like a week or so, and I had time, and I found the theater near me that was playing it. It wasn't playing it in a lot of theaters, unfortunately, but I saw it, and I have to say I am a fan, or now I'm a fan of Robbie Williams. He's the singer that this movie is based on. It's a biopic, but I had a really good time. I mean, yes, I can definitely see why some people are turned away, because it is a biopic, but the person that it's based on is shown as a CGI monkey throughout the entire film. So yeah, that's definitely a choice. But for me, it's really good. Like, this is a biopic that is very different than most biopics. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very different. That's all I'll say. And also, the emotional moments definitely get you. And there's a lot of songs here that I was like, okay, I see you, Robbie Williams, even though he's a UK star. But a lot of the songs are good, and I added a lot of songs on my playlist after this movie. It's a really good movie. It's from the same guy who did The Greatest Showman, and I really like that film, so no surprise why I had a really good time with this film. And for me, it's one of my favorite biopics that has ever been made. Granted, I haven't seen a lot of biopics. Like, I haven't seen that Elvis movie that was made like 3 years ago, but I have to check that one out at some point. But out of the ones that I have seen, this one is one of my absolute favorites. I had a really good time with this movie, And like I said, it's one of my personal favorites of the year. So unfortunately, it's not getting a lot of love. As a matter of fact, it's getting more hate than love, which is sad to see. But for me, it's a really good movie, and that's why it's a number 11, barely missing my top 10.
It's all right. You just wait. I'm quicker than you.
Now we're in the top 10, and starting the top 10, we have F1. This movie came out in June, and it is so freaking good. If you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? Watch it. Yes, it's another long movie, but you barely feel the length because the pacing here is really good. It is from the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick. So if you really love that movie, you're going to love this one. This one is amazing. It is engaging throughout the entire film. The racing moments are awesome. It's just such a fun, awesome, and endearing film that for me, it's a really good movie. I loved it. And Brad Pitt does a really good job here, as well as the rest of the cast. It's a fantastic film that is meant to be seen on the biggest screen possible. So yeah, it's such a fun film that I cannot express how much fun I had with this movie. Can't like enough, you know. It's so fun, and it's a really good movie, and that's why, of course, it's here at number 10 on the list.
4 brave astronauts head off into space and come back forever changed.
Number 9, Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, this movie originally was a lot higher on my list, but I really thought about it with some other films, so I had to, push it down a little, but it's still in the top 10, so there you go. This movie is so fun, and it's also one of the most comic booky films of the year, if that makes sense. Like, this movie, when you watch it, it feels like it's straight out of the comic book, which is awesome. And they finally did the Fantastic Four justice. They finally did it with this film. The actors here are awesome. They do great jobs, especially Vanessa Kirby. She does fantastic here. No pun intended. But this is a really awesome film. I had a great time with it. And yeah, I cannot wait to see these guys again in Doomsday. It's going to be fun. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, I highly recommend it. I know Marvel hasn't been the greatest lately, but this is one film that they came out with that is really good. For me, it's not the best film. You'll see that soon, but it's really good, and you're missing out for sure if you haven't seen it yet. It's such a fun and entertaining film. So yeah, what's not to like about it? And that's why it's at number 9 on this list.
Nah, we cousins.
Number 8 is Sinners. I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? This movie is phenomenal. The cinematography is amazing. The actors do such a great job here, and the movie is so engaging, and the story is so it's all great. It's all spectacular, and it's all thanks to Ryan Coogler. He does a phenomenal job here. One of his best films, without a doubt. And also, Michael B. Jordan has his best performance here as well. He's playing not one but 2 characters, twins even, as you can see in the picture, and it's such a great film. It's not really a horror film, but it does have a lot of horror elements to it. I will admit, I got jumped quite a bit throughout this film, or like I jumped quite a bit. I didn't get jumped, but I jumped quite a few times throughout this film. So it does have a little bit of a spook factor, but the story and the music, come on, the music, like hands down, this is definitely the best score of any movie this year, without a doubt. The music here is fantastic. If you haven't heard the score yet, you gotta. It's so good. This movie is so good. There's a reason why it's being like beloved as one of the best movies to come out, and is getting a lot of Oscar praise too. So Sinners is that good, and that's why it's number 8 on this list.
You will be hunters.
Number 7, we have the K-pop Demon Hunters movie, the movie that took the world by storm. Like, I'm not even kidding. This movie blew up. It's massive. One of the biggest movies of the year, for sure. And it took me a while to finally sit down to watch it, but now that I did, I understand the hype. This movie is really good. I was not expecting this movie to be as good as it is. Definitely one of the most surprising films of the year, without a doubt. Hey, when Sony cooks, they really cook. We saw that with Spider-Verse and the Mitchells vs. the Machines, and now we have it here with the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. The characters are all great, and the animation, of course, fantastic, and even the songs. A lot of the songs here are actually good. So there's a lot to like. I understand the hype now, and it's a great movie. And I cannot wait to see what's next for this franchise now, because they're definitely going to be making sequels. It's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to see what's next. But if you haven't seen this movie yet, you gotta. Like, the hype is deserved for sure. So definitely check it out, and that's why it's at number 7 on this list.
I screw up all the time, but that is being human. And that's my greatest strength.
'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Number 6 is Superman. This movie is super, obviously. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? Superman is so good. James Gunn cooked with this movie. Like, I know a lot of people had very mixed reactions to DC getting rebooted and all that stuff, but we all had trust in James Gunn, and good thing we did, because James Gunn delivered with this film. This movie is so good, and like Fantastic Four, this movie is also very comic booky, so that's awesome. The characters are great, the story is great. Lex is a really great villain, one of the best lately, so that's amazing. And of course, Superman himself, he's awesome. This movie's so awesome, and it gives you hope, which is exactly what we need in these times. So James Gunn, thank you for cooking with Superman, and it's such a good film. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you doing? You got to watch this movie. That's why it's at number 6 on this list.
The final battle. These words echo in my mind.
Number 5, it's the Demon Slayer movie. The Demon Slayer movie, Infinity Castle. Yeah, this movie is amazing, okay? The visuals, fantastic, of course. The hype was worth it. It was worth the wait and everything. This movie is so good. The animation, hands down, some of the best we've seen this year, and it's really good. If you're a fan of the show, you're gonna be a fan of this film. The only reason why it's not near the top, originally this is like, I think, 3rd on my list, but I moved it down to 5 just because I thought about it some more. And although this movie is peak fiction, well, not peak fiction, but peak, it does really feel like it's just episodes put together. The more that I thought about it, like when I'm thinking about anime films, you can definitely tell it apart from the actual series. Like with One Piece, like Film Z or Film Red or Film Stampede, like I can tell that those are movies watching them, instead of like a long episode or like episodes playing in a row to make it feel like a movie. I did feel that with this movie, unfortunately, but that doesn't stop it from being so good, and I cannot wait to see what's next. I'm so excited, and I'm pretty sure before this was my most anticipated film of the year, and I have to say it definitely delivered. So yes, and hey, it's in the top 5. That's worth something. But 5th place, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle.
I will change my destiny!
4th place, we have Ne Zha 2, the quote-unquote highest grossing animated film of all time. And I guess like the biggest animated film of all time. Now that I've seen it, I understand the hype and everything. This movie is amazing, okay? The animation is so freaking good. I saw this in theaters, okay? And I saw it on one of the biggest screens in the theaters that I work in. And it's so good. Like, the animation, it's breathtaking, to say the least. Sure, the comedy bits aren't that great, but then again, I guess that's just how humor is for China and stuff. But, the animation is really good, and the action is awesome. Like, this is definitely a cinematic experience that is worth checking out in theaters. If you missed out, I'm sorry, but hope that they will bring it back in theaters at some point. Anyway, it's a cinematic experience that I was like, oh my freaking god, it's so good, it's amazing. And I had a really good time with this film, and I can definitely see why many people consider it to be one of the best animated films of all time. Honestly, I somewhat agree. It's that good. So yeah, Ne Zha 2 is quite the experience, and that's why it's at number 4 on this list.
Well, I live with the confidence if I believe in myself, the money will follow.
Third place is the most recent film I watched in theaters, Marty Supreme. This movie is absolute cinema. I understand the hype. I understand all the Oscar praise and everything. This movie deserved it all and so much more. Like, oh my god, I was sitting in that theater and I was blown away by how great this movie is. Timothée Chalamet does a phenomenal performance here, and for me this is his best work yet, and the rest of the cast do great as well. The story here is amazing, the cinematography is amazing, the score is amazing. It's so good, and like, you're gonna be left there just in awe after watching the movie, because that's how good this movie is. I understand the Marty Supreme hype, and I'm so glad that I watched this film before the year end so it could be on this list. It's so freaking good. You gotta check it out when you can. I made a whole review about it just like recently, so you can check that out on YouTube as well. But yes, Marty Supreme is peak. It's so good, and that's why it's at number 3 on this list. There are only 2 other movies that I like slightly more than this film, but maybe if I rewatch this film, it could get higher. Who knows? Marty Supreme is that good. Like I said, number 3 on this list.
We are the Thunderbolts! Yes!
Second place is my personal favorite. Actually, it's not my personal favorite. It's my second personal favorite. But I love the movie so much. It's Thunderbolts. I know a lot of you guys are probably shocked to see how high it is on this list. Usually a Marvel movie would end around like 3rd or 4th. Like I think last year, I don't even know how high Deadpool Wolverine got, but I know the year before Guardians 3 got like 4th. Anyway, Thunderbolts. I love this movie so freaking much. I went to see it in theaters 3 times, and then I saw it again on Disney Plus for a 4th time. So in total, I watched this movie 4 times this year. That's how good it is, and that's how much I love it. The characters here are great. These are a bunch of characters that before this film I wouldn't really care about, except for like Bucky. But after watching this film, I was like, okay, these guys are great, especially Yelena and Sentry. Those 2 are my favorites of this team, and I just love their bond that they shared near the end. It's a great film, and it deals with a lot of emotional meanings and like the message and everything. It's a great film, and one of the MCU's most unique films, to say the least. Like, if you've seen this film, you know what I'm talking about. I cannot express how much I love this film enough. It's so good. It would have been number 1, but there's just one other movie that I watched this year that is so peak I had to put it at the top. But Thunderbolts, you deserve your flowers. You're so fucking good, and that's why it's at number 2 on this list.
Everybody's after my chainsaw heart! What about my heart? Genji's heart!
I mean, what other movie was going to take the top spot? I mean, Thunderbolts was really close, and Marty Supreme too, but number 1 has got to be the Chainsaw Man movie, the Reze arc. I am just in awe with this film. I saw it in theaters and it was phenomenal. Like, the animation is so good, and even the story arc here, I can understand the hype now for Chainsaw Man. At first, when it was only that first season that dropped, I was like, a lot of people are overhyping this, and I couldn't really get the hype. But after seeing this arc, I'm like, okay, I understand the hype now for Chainsaw Man. This movie is so good. Like, the story, the characters, it's so good. The animation is so great. The music, it's so good. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. This is peak, okay? Chainsaw Man, the movie, is peak. And I'm so glad I went to see it in theaters. It's so good. If you haven't seen this movie yet, first, catch up with the anime, then watch this movie, and you will see why this movie is one of the best. It's so awesome. It's so peak. I don't even know what to say. It's that good. And for me, this is the best movie of 2025. And that, my friends, is my list for the 2025 movies ranked. I was not expecting this video to be over an hour, yet here we are. Yes, this is my list. I know. There's not really much else to say. This year has been pretty great movie-wise. Everything else not so much, but movie-wise, it's been great. And this is my list, my full list. Well, not my full list, but my full list will be in the pinned comment after this premiere is over. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a happy new year. This should be my last video of the year, unless if I upload something small after, who knows. But yes, 2025 has been quite the year, and now we're going to head into 2026, and let's hope it's better. Anyway, let me know what your favorite movies are in the comments, and let's have a movie chat before the year ends. And yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Sorry for being so long, longer than expected. I don't know, I guess I had a lot more to say about these movies, but that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. This is TDI Fan 2025 signing off for the final time, and I'll see you guys next year. Peace, and thanks for watching.